Okay, so earlier the SQL was started by IBM long time back. It was in mid of after 1950s. Okay, so it was started by IBM. It was written as SEQUEL, SQL. Later on, as we have proceeded, it is now written as SQL. Then the full form of it is as Ripti mentioned, structured query language. Got it? So it's basically a language. What kind of language it is? Can anyone tell me? So it's basically a language how we communicate to our databases. So just like we are communicating to each other, there is a language. So if we want to communicate to database, then we use SQL. That's it. That is a language that we have to learn how to communicate to database. Okay. For that, we need to understand what is database, and we'll be proceeding forward with this. Okay. Anyone has any doubt till now? No, right? So can you tell me what is a database, just in layman language? If any one of you wants to give a try. If SQL is a language which helps us in communicating with database, so what is a database?
Organized collection of data.
Okay, very good. So always remember, a database is where you store your data in organized form. This is very important. So just like if we are storing our data in a laptop, it's not organized, then it is not a database. So storing our data, where we collect our data, it can be from anywhere. When we collect our data, when we store it in an organized form, then it's called database. Okay, and we'll be proceeding forward with what is data then, where we collect our data. You are saying when we collect our data, it's called database. When we store it in our database in an organized form. So what is data? Can anyone tell me? What is data? So you need to get hold of these basics, because later on, once we be learning SQL, if you don't understand these basics, what is data, database, it will be very problematic for you, I'm telling you. So what is data according to you? Anyone?
Information.
Okay, data is an information. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else wants to give a try? Just give a random try. Anyone? Just try it. What is data? Someone told data is an information. It is correct, no doubt. Okay. So what is data? Data is basically your facts, statistics, and all your attributes that are brought together. Okay. For some purpose, for storage or analysis or management, isn't it? So one of those things is information. Okay. So can anyone tell me if data is an information or facts or any statistic or whatever information is there, characteristics, attributes, all these things are data. So it can be in various forms. So there are three forms of it, remember it. Okay. There are three forms of data. I'm going to share my screen with you all. My screen is visible to you? Yes or
Yes. No? Yes.
I'll just write it in Excel itself. So there are three forms of data. Okay, I'm not saying types, remember it, forms. So first is unstructured. And what it is, I'll tell you right now. Then we have structured. And then we have semi-structured. Got it? Are you all with me?
Yes.
So when you store your data in what is structured and semi-structured, structured and unstructured, I think most of you will be familiar with it. So structure is something when our data has proper limits, like this in Excel, when we write something, it has proper limits. It is defined in a proper way, what means what. So that is a structured data. So when we create a table over here, where we say name, class, section. Okay. And when we write our data over here, prepare it. So in this, we have defined the limits and everything is defined. This column means what, this column means what, this column means what. And in the rows, we know what are the values, isn't it? So this becomes structured. Okay. And remind it, it is not necessary to be in tabular form. Anything can be structured. Even the CSV file, even the text file that you write, if it's written in proper structure way, like this, I'll just write one text file for you. where I will write my document like this: name, section, class. Even this is structured because we know under name what will be the value. If I put my values like this, one for this class name, suppose name I'll properly write name, suppose write US, section if I write suppose A. So even this is structured, okay? So it is not necessary to be in the tabular form, but we generally give the example of tabular because it is easy to understand. Okay. So did you get hold of what is structured? Each one of you?
Yes.
Similarly, what is unstructured data? Can anyone tell me? Just think around you. Data is everywhere. In which format it is?
Notepad.
Notepad data, like right now I wrote, this is not unstructured. This is structured. This is Notepad. In Notepad itself, when your data is written in different format, it can be in unstructured as well. Okay. So you cannot say Notepad. When you're in Notepad, it can be both structured and unstructured, remember. So this I have written, this is structured because I have proper classification and definition of the data. If I don't define it properly, suppose I write a normal,
Unorganized.
yes,
Or
when it is not organized or it is not properly defined. Okay, so if I write a normal statement over here, a man was traveling by the road. So this is not organized properly, isn't it? This is also data, isn't it? So this becomes unstructured. Okay. So what is the best example of unstructured is your video files, your audio files. Got it? Are you all with me?
yeah.
So semi-structured. In semi-structured, it means when we have collection of some attributes of structured and some of unstructured. So best example of it is your emails. When you write your emails, do you remember when you write your emails? So first you write like, hi, so this is to find below the attachment. And in that attachment, we have structured data, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it? So that is structured. And whatever you have written above it, that is unstructured. So it becomes semi-structured. Everyone is understanding this? Yes or no?
Yes,
All are with
I
me,
have
right?
a question.
Yes.
Sudhanshu, I have a question. If we sort like music files by names, so would they be unstructured or structured?
If you see, if you sort music file by names, okay, or genre for that matter. So this is if you are sorting it by genre, suppose, or name, okay. So that becomes structured, okay. But inside the music file, that content is unstructured. That's what I mean.
Okay.
So when you okay, so you can like write your genre over here and your music link over here, okay. So this will become structured. Suppose you have a genre, music genre over here, and this link. Okay, so you will write like suppose drama, and over here will be linked. So this is structured, but the link inside this link that will be there, the content of it will be unstructured. Got it?
Okay, yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Everyone is understanding this, right? So did you get hold of all three? Because without understanding this thing, you cannot learn SQL. Remember it if you don't understand this thing properly. Because in SQL, remember, we don't work on unstructured data. Unstructured data, that is this. We don't work on this. Why? I'll tell you. Okay. First, you all are aware of this now. What is unstructured? What is structured? What is semi-structured?
Sudhanshu, I have a
Yeah.
question. Like structured data then can only be in the form of written form only. Like it can be only in written form, not in verbal or anything else, right?
Yes, you can say that. Anyone else has any doubt? So when you are learning SQL, remember when you are learning SQL, it is what database management system. SQL is a database management. It's a language that is used to communicate to databases. Okay. So always remember in SQL that you learn that works only on structured data or at max semi-structured, but not on unstructured at all. So you'll never hear anyone saying that I worked on SQL on a music file or for that matter, audio file. No, you'll never hear that, because for unstructured data, what we learn, that is called no SQL, no SQL. It is called, what you are learning is SQL. Okay. So when you'll be learning NoSQL, in that you'll be learning how to communicate. This is again a communication language. This will help you to communicate with unstructured data. And SQL that you learn, that helps you communicate with primarily with structured data, at times with semi-unstructured as well. Got it? Everyone is understanding this? So for SQL, right now we are learning SQL, okay? SQL. So this is a communication language, isn't it? Similarly, NoSQL is also a communication language that is for unstructured, and SQL is for structured and semi-structured. Okay. So like SQL is a communication language, and always remember there is an ISO standard that needs to be followed if someone on any platform that you do SQL. That is the reason when you learn SQL, no matter from where you learn, some people will tell you to learn from MySQL Workbench. It's a platform where you can write SQL codes. Okay. Some people will tell you that you can learn it from Microsoft SQL Server, SSMS. Okay. So it's a platform. Okay. So you can learn anywhere on MySQL Workbench, SSMS, or PostgreSQL. The popular platforms, I'll tell you what all they are. Popular platforms. So one is where we will be learning is SSMS. It is called Microsoft SQL Servers Management System. Okay. And then we have SQL Workbench, MySQL. It is called MySQL Workbench. This is it. Okay. MySQL. Then we have PostgreSQL. And then we have Oracle. We have many more. Okay. These are a few popular ones. So all of these use SQL. And remember, since SQL accepts only, like SQL follows one ISO standard. So there is a like more or less, if you learn SQL on any one of them, you can learn on the other, you can use the other platform as well. But there is going to be minute changes. As you know that SQL follows one ISO standard. So all of these tools have to follow your standard. So what those standards are, we'll be learning that as well. Okay. But apart from the standards, whatever, there are small things like 4 to 5% small things where standards are not followed. So for those things, small things can change. Okay. But there will be only minute changes. So if you know any one of them, it is sufficient for you to learn the other also. And no one is going to differentiate whether you know one or not. Okay. If you know only one, it is okay. Because more or less 95% all are same. Correct? But for NoSQL, there is a very popular tool. It's called MongoDB. Okay. So when you want to work on unstructured data, you cannot work on SQL. Remember it. You will have to go for MongoDB. Got it? You are getting this difference?
Yeah.
Yes.
The first was the data, unstructured, semi-structured, and structured. Now you got to know on what is SQL and difference between NoSQL. So NoSQL full form is just like we have the SQL for SQL full form. Someone told me what structured query language, right? So that's how we have our full form for NoSQL as well. Does anyone know? It's not only SQL. That's it. Not only SQL. NoSQL means not only SQL. Okay. Got it? That's a full form. So when you write in your CV, if you learn SQL, you'll write, SQL. Someone who knows both, they will say they know SQL as well, no SQL as well. Someone who says they know no SQL, it means they can work on unstructured data as well. For time being, you're learning SQL, so you'll be working on structured or majorly structured, at times semi-structured as well. Got it? Everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like I told you, SQL. In SQL, what it is? It is a language that is used to communicate to databases, isn't it? So, what is a database? Someone told me where we keep all our data in an organized way, isn't it? So let me just I'll just do one thing. Let me just connect my writing pad. Okay. My screen is visible, right? Now. Yes or no? Visible?
Yes.
Okay. So right now I told you have to connect to SQL is what? To communicate to database. So what is database? Let's learn that. Okay. Database. Someone told me where all our organized data is kept, right? Data is kept in organized form. Data is stored in organized form. This is very important, organized. Okay. You all are getting this right?
Yes.
Yes or no? So suppose you have your transaction data. Suppose you have a bank data. Okay. So suppose you have a data. You have a bank data. It is it is stored over here. Suppose bank data is stored over here. Okay. Suppose you have transaction data of clients. It is stored over here. Suppose this is transaction data. Okay. And this is suppose customer data. Okay. So you can have multiple data like this, right? So when you bring all of them together in an organized manner, so that becomes your database. Okay. This is your database. Okay. Now this database, it is of primarily of two types, OLTP and OLAP. So what is OLTP and what is OLAP? I'll tell you. Please pay attention to it, because all of these concepts are very, very important. Okay. You all are getting this till now?
Yes, we are getting it.
Okay. So OLTP full form is online transaction processing. So online transaction processing. OLAP is online analytics processing. Okay. Good to go till now? Full form, do you know? All of you.
Yeah.
So when you have your data stored over here, so right now this is transactional data, right? Day to day basis your data is coming, isn't it? Day to day your data will come. It will be organized and kept over here in database. Okay. So this day to day raw data, when it is coming in the database, it is called OLTP, transactional data that comes in the database. Okay. But once you have your data in the database, suppose you have a lot of data that is organized over here in database. Okay. And now over here, suppose you perform any data cleaning. Okay. Data cleaning or data consolidation or any such thing, data transformation. Okay. Data transformation. When you perform all these things, and then your raw data, raw data will be transformed from here, right? So when this transformed data, why you are transforming? To make it easier for analysis, isn't it? Isn't it? Yes or no? Make it
Yes.
ready. Make it ready for analysis. So when you make your data ready for your analysis, okay, and when you whatever data will come over here, when you will put that in a database, this database is called what? Data warehouse. Okay, you all are getting this? Understand these concepts, because they will be asking you in the interview what is database, what is data warehouse. So database is where all your raw data that is kept in an organized form. Okay, that is database. Okay. This is database.
Yeah.
All your raw data is kept in an organized form. Okay, that is your database. But once you perform your data cleaning, data consolidation, data transformation, and all these steps, and you have your data ready for analysis, so that someone can take one informed decision on the basis of it. When you keep that kind of a data in a database, that becomes your data warehouse. Okay, you all are with me, right? So all these steps you are doing over here to make it ready for analysis. This process is called data wrangling. What is called data wrangling. I'm telling this in the first class and in the intro class itself, remember, because there's a reason. This I'm telling you in the first class, and in the interview it will be asked, I'm sure. These concepts are asked, okay, for freshers especially. So whatever process you are doing over here, these process, that is called data wrangling. Okay, got it? And this data wrangling is just one step. If you'll go broader, then it is in broader sense called ETL, extract, transform, and load. So you'll extract data from this data source, You will transform it through this process, whatever we did over here, and then load it in the data warehouse. Got it? So what are the popular databases? SSMS. In this, we keep it our databases. MySQL. All these we keep our databases, raw data, okay, in an organized form. And what is data warehouse examples of it? Can anyone tell me? You remember in Tableau when I was teaching, what we were doing in Tableau? Can you remember? We were transforming our data, concat, and everything we were doing. So we were basically doing all these processes on a data cleaning. And if you remember, I told you when the data comes in the Tableau data source, it is stored over there in the Tableau. So that data that is stored over there, that is actually in Tableau data warehouse. Okay, because that data is ready for analysis, right? On the basis of that, we make our views, right? So all BI tools, then they store data, that is data warehouse. Got it? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Did you get the difference between data wrangling, data warehouse, database, Oltp, Olap, all these concepts? Because these concepts are very, very important. Everyone, anyone has any doubt till now? No doubts, right? Yes or no?
The full form.
Full form of what?
Oh.
Sorry, someone.
ETL. ETL.
Extract, transform, and load. So if someone has heard about Alteryx, or for that matter, NIME or Informatica, Talent, all these things are ETL tools, properly made for this one. Okay.
Okay.
And at times they can ask you the difference between data wrangling and ETL. Please explore on it because it is important. It's a SQL class. When we'll be learning ETLs, then I'll be telling you the difference between data wrangling and ETL as well. Okay. Till now, all good, right? You understood what is data wrangling and what is data warehouse. In data warehouse, what kind of data is there? In data warehouse, what kind of data is there?
The data which is ready for visualization or analytics.
Yes, for analytics purpose. Okay. All good till now, right? So remember this database that we have. Okay. Database we started with. First we started with data. Okay. First we started with data, isn't it? This way. First we started with data. Okay. And collection of data. Organized way. This formed our database, isn't it? Yes.
Yes.
Then on database, if you did some transformation and all those things, transformation, consolidation, and your data integration, everything that is ready for analysis, that we had put our, suppose I'll write over here data wrangling. Okay. So over here, when you put this data wrangling, the process you will do data wrangling. So that data prepared for analysis will come in data warehouse. Okay. All good till now?
Yeah.
Now in this data warehouse, you will, when you have made your data ready for analysis. So this is going to keep a lot of data, right? That is ready for analysis, like sales data, like production data, isn't it? HR data, isn't it? Isn't it? All these data will be ready for analysis. It will be called data warehouse. But from here, if we want to segregate all data related to sales or all data related to production, when you want to segregate from here, that all sales data comes together, all production data comes together. Okay, similarly HR. So these are called data mart. What it's called? Data mart. Okay. So when you have all your data that is prepared for analysis, you are categorizing them on the basis for this, when you're categorizing them on the basis of their requirement, that is sales, production, HR, and you're putting it somewhere in at one place, that is called data mart. Okay, got it?
Sir, I have one query.
Yes.
Sir, what is the difference between SSMS, SSIS, SSRS?
I'll tell you that. Wait. I'll tell you. So you are asking the difference between SSMS, SSIS, SSAS, and SSRS. These are,
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you right now. Okay, right now we'll in SQL we are working with this. I'll tell you the difference between all of these. Okay, till now everyone has understood this. Data wrangling, database, data warehouse, data mart. Write these keywords because in your interview they are going to ask. Okay, and understand this flow chart so that you remember. Okay, that's the reason I have written it in this format so that it becomes easy for you to remember. Okay, till now all good?
Yeah.
Okay, so someone asked me what is SSMS, SSIS, SSAS, and SSRS. These are all Microsoft tools. Okay,
Yes.
so first I'll tell you what is the difference now. So I was only
Yes.
coming to SSMS. First, let's come to SSMS because this is our where we will be writing our SQL codes. So always remember the SSMS. In this, we will be writing our SQL codes. So this is a language, right? So this will help us to communicate with this database. Okay, this database, not anything else. Got it? So SQL Server Management System
Yes.
is basically a product of Microsoft where we write all our structured query language. Okay, but whereas SSIS, it is actually an ETL. What ETL I told you, right? Over here, data wrangling. Over here, we do ETL, right? I told you the example of Oltp, Informatica, and all these things. Okay, so SSIS is actually an ETL of Microsoft. ETL. Okay,
Okay,
SSAS. This is where you do all your prepare your data for analytics. So you can say this will help. This is similar to this what we are doing over here. And SSRS is basically what you do your reporting. So similar to your BI tools. Got it?
SSAS or SSRS is a BI tool, sir.
No, not same as, not both of them. SSAS is similar to this data warehouse where whatever we did the process ready for analysis. So over here,
Yes, sir.
we prepare over here if you are done your ETL. Okay, if you are done your ETL,
Okay, sir.
then your data becomes ready for analysis, right? So you all your analysis you do in SSAS. Okay, SSAS. And once
Okay,
you have
sir.
done all your analysis over here, once you have done all your analysis, if you are done over here, then you need to do reporting, right? So you go to SQL Server reporting system. SSIS is as a SQL Server's information or integration system. Integration, I guess it is called, because you do ETL over there. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir.
And SSAS is SQL Server Analytics. Okay. And this is SSRS
Okay, sir.
reporting. Okay. Got it?
Okay, sir. Sir, SSR is another app, sir. Yeah, software.
All of these are related to AMS only. If you learn one of them, so these when you learn Microsoft BI, MSBI, that's totally
Okay, sir.
different topic. So when you'll be
Okay,
doing
sir.
MSBI on these, you'll be learning these two together. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So for SQL, we are using this. Okay. Anyone else has any doubt till now? No doubts till now, right?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's continue. So till now, you are all good, right? No doubts at all. These keywords remember because this is very, very important. I'm telling you again and again because it is important. Understand the concepts. Okay. So now when we come to database.
Can you tell me once again about data wrangling?
Yeah. Data wrangling is where earlier I had written over here, if you remember, data cleaning, data transformation, right? So it is a process. Data wrangling is a process which involves all three steps. all this steps like data rank, data transformation, data integration, consolidation, cleaning, all these things which make your data ready for analysis. Okay, so that process is called data wrangling.
Okay, got it.
Got it? Anyone else has any doubt? No doubts, right? So let's come to database models, because we are learning SQL, so we have to learn database models. So I told you the SQL codes you'll be writing it will help us to communicate with databases. So databases comes in various models. Why there is a model? Because like we told you in the initially, it keeps our data in an organized way. So what kind of organization, what kind of organized way does it keep our data? That we are going to see now. Okay, got it? All good till now, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's come to database models. If it's too much for a date for anyone, do let me know. I'll go slow if you don't understand, because these things are very, very important. So let's come to database model. Database model. So primarily there are three: first, second, and third. Does anyone know? First is called hierarchical. Anyone has any idea about all these things? Yes? Anyone has any idea? Yes or no? Okay.
No.
So whenever earlier you used to say databases, so what you used to understand, just normal, it's a collection of data, right? Nothing more than that, it means. So always remember, database, or data is contained in an organized way. Okay, and that organized, in what form it is organized, that we are doing right now. Okay, so first is primarily there are three. There can be many more. If you search, you will find many more. But primarily we say there are three. Okay, just wait. So first is hierarchical. So what do you understand by hierarchy? Can anyone tell me?
Sequence.
Like parent-child hierarchy, decision tree, one after the other. Someone told SQL, it is not exactly correct. Sequence, someone told, but it is not exactly correct. Okay, so I'll tell you. In hierarchy, what do we mean? Suppose over here there is parent, and then we have child 1, child 2. Then we have grandchild, grandchildren, grandchild 1, grandchild 2. So this is hierarchy, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yes.
So when you store your data in this format, that is called hierarchical database model. Okay? All good till now? So over here, if you'll see what kind we are getting from one we are getting many, isn't it? From one, that is from one we are getting many, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
So this is called hierarchical database. So we call this hierarchical database management system. Okay? And then we have second, network database management system. And third, we have relational database. So understand the difference between all of them. That is very, very important. Relational database management system, DM. Database management system. Okay? All good till now? You understood what is hierarchical, right? So over here, if you can see, it is what kind of relationship is being used. From one, we are getting many. And just don't worry about this relationship. One to many, many to one. This will in future classes, you'll be learning what they precisely mean. Okay? But for now, from one, we are getting many, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
And when you keep your data in this format, okay, in database, that is called hierarchical database management system. Okay.
Can you give me an example of hierarchical database model?
Hierarchical database model. See, this was very old structure. Now we don't keep it this way anywhere. So when SQL started initially, we used to keep it like this only. So we can keep it like this. Company. Okay. Department 1. Okay. This you can keep whatever analytics. Okay, this is a company name, suppose company X, analytics department, sales department, and in sales analytics department you can keep over your employee, analytics employee, and over here you can keep this sales employee, sales amount. So this is actually hierarchical, isn't it? Yes or no? So, but this we do at present. Remember when SQL started, then we used to keep our data this way. Over here, we are having what kind of relationship? One to many, isn't it? So the drawback of this was we could have only one to many relationship. Okay, one to many. Then came network database management system. In this, we started building networks. Okay, so if you say what do we mean by this network? So I will say in network, suppose this is company. Okay, there is this department 1 and department 2. Okay, like analytics and sales. When you start building network between these two, so that is a network. So what do we mean by network? Suppose this is a common table in both employee, so you'll have a common table for them, but whatever columns are related to only analytics will be in analytics, whatever columns are related to only sales will be in sales. So that is building network. Okay, so in this there are many to many. From this one column there could be many values, so in this there would be many to many relationship. Don't worry about many to many, one to one right now. Just understand diagrammatically if you understand. If not, then tell me, I'll repeat it. Okay. In network database management system, did you get it? I'll just, if someone did not get it, I'll repeat once again. First, hierarchical, did you get it? And I gave the example of company and department.
Yes.
Do you want me to repeat network, or did everyone got it?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. And so this was also being used, this was also being, but now what we use, now we'll be working on, will be relational database management system. This is where we work now. In this, I'll show you the advantage. I'll just tell you the advantage of this. No doubts, right, till now? Anyone has any doubts till now?
No.
Okay. Okay, so let's come to relational database. So in hierarchical, I told you there is a one-to-many relationship. In network, since you make networks, so there is many-to-many relationship. Many-to-many. And in first one, we had one-to-many. In this many. In relational database, this is where we'll be working on. It is called RDBMS, Database Management System. Okay. So in this, our data is stored in relational manner. What do we mean by that? So if someone has learned Tableau from me, they would remember I was teaching one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many, and many-to-one relationship. So in this, there are four kind of relationships you can draw. One is one-to-one, one is one-to-many, one is many-to-one, and one is many-to-many. So if you come to relational, first, if you come to relational, so relational can incorporate one-to-many and one-to-one, many-to-many both, which was advantage of network and hierarchical, right? So drawbacks of hierarchical and network was done away with when we did our relational, because in hierarchical and network DMS, network database management system, we could not do one-to-one relationship, but in relational we can do. And apart from that, we can do whatever these two used to do. Got it? So I'll tell you how it does relational database. So suppose over here how we make our table. I'll give you the parent child only. Suppose there is a parent, there is a child. So it is more in tabular format and structured. And there is grandchildren. Table 1. Okay. Suppose there is X parent, Y parent. So all the X. So write it X. Suppose there is child 1 of X, child 2, child 3. Okay, for X only, for X only, for X only. For them, suppose there are two more. Okay, like this. So over here, if we have another table, we can easily make whatever relationships we could make earlier from these. So that's the reason we are drawing relationship. So from another table, suppose this is parent table, and suppose this is parent earnings table. So in these two tables, we can easily draw a relationship on the basis of a single column, parent. Okay. So on this parent and parent, we can draw many kind of relationship, one to many to one, one to many, one to one, many to one, and many to many. So it is called relational database management system. Got it? Don't worry about these, how these are, these comes, one to one, many to many. First understand these, difference between all those. Everyone has got that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Each one of you, right? And those of you who have done Tableau, you should be knowing this also. One to one, many to many.
Yeah.
Okay. So database models you have understood 3 times. Primarily there are 3. All good till now, right? So now I'll give you a brief about how your SQL Server management looks and how should you be working on it. Okay. So let's start. So your SQL Server, we are going to use SQL Server management system. Okay. To write all your SQL codes. Okay. So then I'll open it, see what will happen. So when you open your SQL Server management system, this is going to open connect to server. Okay. So I told you SQL Server is what? Database management system. Okay. That we're doing. So it has a lot of databases. First, you'll be asking me what server type you want to connect to. So you'll be downloading all these things and it will automatically come database engine. Server name, I'll tell you how to download. Server name will come and authentication Windows, it will be by default. Okay, when I'll do connect. This you will have to do every time whenever you open your SQL Server, remember. Let's come. So always remember in SQL, you cannot do anything without databases. That's the reason I first gave you a brief about database and everything, all the words related to it. So if you'll come over here, if you'll see this is how your user interface is going to look like initially. Okay. Over here in this object explorer, you will have something called database. This is your system. Okay. Server, so through which you are connected. Okay. Right now I'm connecting to system server. Okay. First thing, can you see over here databases? So you will be working in these only, remember it. So when I'll click over here, plus sign. So there are system databases, database snapshots, and one I have made on for my own practice. I'll tell you how to make that as well. So whenever you'll be writing any code, so like I told you, we work on structured data, right? In SQL. So structured data is stored where? Structured and semi-structured as well. It is stored in organized form in databases, right? So you'll be working on databases. So when so suppose I have to write a query, I'll go over here, new query. Right now, see over here databases, system databases. Can you see there are many databases? So you'll have to first select in which database you're working. Right now, if I had not selected and I did new query, by default, it took master database. Master database is system database. So you'll always have to select a database because to pull any query, pull anything from a tables, you need to know in which database it is stored. Always remember this because no matter what you do in future, on which platform you write your SQL, you will be needing databases. Without knowing the database, you cannot write your query properly. Because suppose if I write over here something that I want pull my data, suppose I want to pull my employee data. So I should know this much where my employee data is kept in which database. Okay. Are you all good?
Yeah, are these by default databases like master model, MSDB, and these?
By default, it choose masters. We'll have to select. Suppose I have made this. Okay. So if I'll choose practice, then I'll do new database. Then it's coming practice. So now when I'll write my query over here, over here, I can only write query for those tables which are already in this. So if I want to expand this, this will tell me tables. See if you can see tables. So I can work on these tables on this in this query. If I want to work on my master's database, if I want to work on some table that is in master's database, I'll have to expand master database. Over there, I'll have to expand tables. I'll have to suppose these tables I want to work with, DBO database. So if I want to work with these tables, I cannot go on practice. If it's written over here, practice. If it's written over here, practice, I'll suppose I want to pull data from here. Right now, you all are not aware of any query. Don't worry. I'm just trying to give you one explanation.
Okay.
From, suppose I take DBO. Okay. So right now, suppose I run. Invalid object name this, because this object is not there. This table, this is a table name. Okay. This table is not there in practice data set database. In practice database, this table is not there. Okay. Got it? That is the reason this error you will get. So always first thing you have to ensure that you have selected correct database. Okay. Got it?
Okay.
And if you want to make new databases, it's very easy. Just go to database, new database. Just write over your database name and it will be found. Do okay, it will be found. Okay. And if suppose you want to write a query, so I'll be teaching you how to write a query to create database as well. Right now, without knowing the code also you can do. Okay. All good till now?
Yeah.
So before writing any query over here, please ensure which database you are selected, in which database your table is in. Remember it. Okay, otherwise you'll get this error, invalid object name. Got it? So this is Object Explorer. In this, you'll be having the option of databases table, whatever you want to see. Whatever table you will create over here, you can see over here. But remember, you will see in the database you are working in. Suppose you have created a table. Over here, if you create any table in practice dataset, and if you want to see in system databases, you want to see in model or master, it will not show over here. So go in the right database. Okay. All good till now? So this over here is called Object Explorer. So it will help you to like explore all the objects that you have created. Objects means table, databases, views, everything. So you can see over here. Okay. Good to go till now. And this area is where you'll be working on, and you'll be creating all your queries. Okay. This is called work area. All good till now?
Yeah.
And if you want to write any new query, you just have to go to new query and write it. Okay. And by mistake, suppose by mistake, I do right now new query. Right now it has selected master, right? By default. If you want to change the database, change it from here. Then write the code. So it will go to practice database. Okay. All good till now?
Yeah.
Any problem from the user interface of this? Till now, Object Explorer work area. So once you write your codes, there will be over here the console area where you'll get all your outputs. It's hidden in my system. I'll just select. So this area, okay, remember this area, you'll be seeing your results. You can enlarge it also. Okay, all your results will be over here and all your error will be over here. Okay, got it?
Yeah.
So whatever error will come, always read it properly, because you're bound to make error, because we all are humans and we might make syntax error at times. Don't worry about making errors. That's small thing. You can make errors, n number of errors, but understand the concept. That is more important. Okay. And understand the error, whatever throws over here. That is also equally important, so that you don't make the same error again and again. Okay. Any problem till now?
No.
To execute, to run any query you have written, that is F5. This I'll teach you when I'll be teaching you how to run these queries and everything, what you write over here. Okay. So if you are learning SQL, if you learned what is databases and what databases models are there are three kinds, right? And if you have learned what is the user interface of SSMS, let's come to SQL, core SQL now. Let's start with that. Basics we have done. Okay. So in core SQL, always remember the commands that you write over here. Earlier, I told you SQL follows ISO standards. No matter which platform you do, they have to follow ISO standards. So what are these standards that they have to follow, that we have to learn? Okay, because these standards are going to be same across the platform you do write SQL. So if today we are writing on SSMS, tomorrow if you want to write on Oracle, or if you want to write on PostgreSQL or my workbench, so these standards will be same. So what are those standards that we are going to learn? Okay, so in SQL there are four kinds of commands. Okay, four kinds of commands. These are standard, these four kinds of commands actually. Of commands. Okay, so what are those? Does anyone has any idea?
Is it select from?
No, I'm not talking about the statements. I'm talking about the commands. DDL, DML commands.
No idea. Okay. DDL, DML.
DCL. So in this there are various commands. So let's understand, like whatever comes in these. So those commands have to be followed by all the platforms where we will be writing our SQL query. Correct? Apart from those which are not in these, that can be like little bit changes can be done across your platforms where you will be writing your SQL codes. Got it? So what is this DDL? Let's understand this. It's called data definition language. Data definition language. I'm just giving you the full form of each. Next is called data. Anyone has any idea?
Manipulation.
Manipulation. Manipulation. Language. Okay. Third. Anyone has any idea?
Data cleaning.
No. Control. In this we
Data
have
control language.
yes. So in this we control. Basically, what do we mean by control? It's related to security. Whom we want to give control to do what. Okay.
Okay.
Control. And then we have TCL, transaction control. Transaction control is very easy. Just like we do other, they're like rollback, commit, control Z, control Y. You do right. If you do in Excel also, right? Rollback meaning whatever error we have made, just go a back step. So over here it's called rollback. Right? Transaction control language. Okay. So there are few statements in all of these. So remember, in all of these, no matter where you use, if you learn over here, it is same across the platform. Each one of you, did you get it? So can anyone tell me what is data definition language? What could it be? I'm not asking you like what is inside it. I'm just like intuitively what you are getting, what it could be.
Language which defines the type of data.
Yes.
Like
Select doesn't define your data, remember. Select is basically comes in DML, data manipulation language. So let's understand what data definition language. So you have understood this thing, right? First, there are four kinds of commands in SQL. They'll ask you in the interview, you'll have to name all of these. And in each of them, that we have few statements. Okay, got it?
yeah.
So let's understand what is data definition language. I'm not going to, this is introduction class, so I'll not go deep in each one of them. What are the statements in it? I'll just give you overview what it means. Okay, definition. What does definition mean? So if you have understood everything till now, so it would be very easy for you to learn this, to know what is this data definition language. Okay. So can anyone tell me, suppose if I want to create the table First, you know, right? In SQL, what kind of data you work with? Structured or semi-structured data, right? So if you're working on semi-structured data, most common is the table, right? Isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
So suppose I want to create a table. I'm deleting all these. Suppose I want to create a table. Suppose I create a table, employee table I'm creating, okay? Employee table. This is employee ID and then department and then salary. Okay. So what we are doing right now, actually what I did right now, suppose I want to create a table. So what I did first, I created a table name, isn't it? I told employee table, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes.
And then I told the column names, isn't it? So
Yeah.
what are you doing right now when you're writing over here? What are you doing? You're defining it, isn't it? You're defining your table, isn't it? When you're doing all these steps. In
Yes.
layman language, suppose again I start. If I ask someone, someone asks me to create a student's table, so what I will do? To create a student table, I need to define. So first thing I'll do, I will say what is my table name. Suppose I'll write student table. Okay, and then I will say student table. In a table we should have columns. So what are my columns going to be? So suppose I'll write name of the student, class. So this is again whatever I'm doing. This is defining the table, isn't it? Yes or no? So when you do all these things, right? We are right now writing in Excel, so it seems very easy, right? But when we'll be writing our query over here, we are not going to write in so simple manner. We'll have to write some commands, give some commands over here. So whenever you will be working on something like this, where you'll need to create a table and you need to write their column name. So this is data definition, isn't it? Defining the table, isn't it? Layman language, you should understand this, isn't it? So these things are related to what? DDL. Got it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So once suppose I have defined, okay. So in definition, a lot of other things comes. Like over here in employee ID, what should its data type be? What values it should accept? Okay, these things we'll be learning when we'll be learning SQL Server properly. But when we are defining it, what I did right now? Table name, column name, okay? And if in each column, if I tell what values it can take, that is also related to definition, right? Suppose if I write in employee ID, there should be a string value only or numeric value. So that it comes under definition, right? Isn't it? Yes or no? So whenever you're
Yes.
giving anything related to table name, column name, so these come under definition. But once you start writing the value inside, now I'm writing the value inside my table. So I say 101, giving the values, isn't it? Now I'm giving the values, analytics, salary, if I'll say. Okay. So right now what I did, this is not definition. This is a value I am giving, isn't it? Yes or no? This is not definition, right?
Yes.
Like this,
Yeah.
I can have numerous values, isn't it?
Yeah.
So these values that I'm giving, it comes under data manipulation language. Okay, why it's called manipulation? Let's understand that more. So basically, it's called manipulation language because once you have given the value, you can later on change also, right? Right. So right now, suppose this person, employee ID 101, so one is working in analytics department. Tomorrow he can go to sales department. If I write sales over here, so I'm changing the values inside, right? So manipulating it, right?
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is the reason it's called data manipulation. Got it? In SQL, we will be doing it other way. I'm just giving you a glimpse right now of what these words mean. Okay, remember it. So in SQL, we'll have to write commands for it. Okay, data manipulation, did you get? Data definition, did you get? So anything related to structure of the table, that is called data definition. What do I mean by structure? Mean table name, column name, column data type. These are related to structure, isn't it? isn't it? And so on. There will be many more. Okay. And data manipulation language, when we are giving values in the table, and changing it, according to demand, according to demand. Okay. So this is related to data manipulation. Okay. Data control, what does it mean? So suppose once I have made this table, okay, this table I have made, first step, it required me to do data definition. It means I have to tell table name, structure and everything. Then I had to write the data manipulation, that is all these things. Once I have done that, okay, created the table and everything. Once I have done that, who should access this table now? Who can access it? Okay, who can access this? Who can view it? Who can make changes in this? Suppose right now, in whoever is attending the classes, suppose I want to give access to this table only to few people who can change it, and to some people I want to give the access to it who cannot make changes to it but can only view it. So that is my data control, isn't it? I'm controlling it, isn't it? Who can see what, who do what with this data, isn't it? Yes or no? So that comes in the data control language. Got it?
Yes.
And transaction control is very easy. It means, suppose we are making any transaction. Transaction means we are doing any changes over here. Okay, suppose I am doing sales. And suppose now I made some error. I want to go one step back. So over here in Excel, what we do? We press Control Z, isn't it? So this is called rollback. So transaction, go a step back. So that is what we mean by transaction control. Okay.
Yeah.
Right now I taught you this format because it is very easy for you to understand in this format. Okay. But
Yes,
when
it
we
was
learn,
easy.
but when we'll be learning over here, it's not going to be so easy. Okay.
Okay.
But always relate to whatever we did over here. Related to this, then it will be very easy. If you forget this, then it will be difficult. Then you won't understand what means what. Okay. So can someone tell me? I want to delete this entry over here. So this should come in which type of table?
TCL,
No.
DML.
Yes, DMA. In TCL, you have only rollback and commit. Commit means control Y, basically, when you do, like going a step forward.
Okay.
So there is one more. So why DML? Because we are doing manipulation, isn't it?
We are changing. Yes.
Yes. And now suppose I want to delete this entire thing. All table gone. This should come in which? Can anyone tell me? This should come in which?
DML again.
No, your entire data is gone. It should come to DDL, data definition. This was related to structure of the table. Your entire structure is gone.
Okay.
Gradually, we'll learn all these things that I'll be telling you. Anyone has any doubt till now?
No, the definitions are clear, but I mean the examples like that just now.
Gradually, when I like right now, I give you general overview of it. When I'll be giving you in detail what comes under, like what all.
Difference between data control language and transaction control.
You are asking difference between data
Yeah,
control
I'm asking the difference
between this and this, right? Data control and transaction control. Telling you. In data control means, suppose the person who asked me the reason this data control language, suppose I'm sharing this file with you. Okay, I'm sharing it to you, but I give you the control whether you can make changes in this table or not. Okay, I will have the control whether you can change this. So suppose if I share with you this, but I'm sharing this with you, but I'm keeping the control to myself that you can only view this data but not changing it. So that is data control language. Did it become clear to you?
Yeah, DCL I understood. Transaction.
No, DDL. Right now I told DDL. This is DDL, data control. So data control means when I'm sharing my data with someone, what kind of control I'm giving to that person, whether he can view it only, view only,
Yeah, understood.
read only, or do both, something like this. Okay. So this is related to DDL. But in TCL, transaction control, in transaction control means when I'm making any changes over here. So if I'm making any changes, that it means I'm doing some transaction over here, right? Some changing it. Suppose I'm doing over here department sales. So while changing it, I got to know, no, I don't need to change it. So I need to go one step back. So one transaction back, I need to go. So how do you do it in Excel? In Excel, you press Control Z. So that is rollback, meaning go a step back, isn't it?
Yes.
So that is transaction control. And suppose if I write sales over here, I don't want to go back. I want to commit it, means never go back from here. Okay, I want to fix this. So it's called commit in SQL. So that also comes under transaction control. So transactions you are controlling basically. So whether you want to go one step back, forward, all those things. So primarily when you will be working on SQL, more or less you'll be working more on this. As data analyst, you are supposed to work more on this. Okay, but someone who is preparing for data engine and for data engineering, they need to work more on this because it is the work of engineers to create table. And for data analysts, what is the work? To visualize it, isn't it? To make changes. Suppose there is null. So what do you do with this null? How do you prepare your this table? Like manipulations you need to do, right? So it's the DML. Got it? Got it? Anyone else has any doubt?
What will be the definition of TCL for the interview purpose?
Transaction control. See, they will directly ask you what is transaction control language. So you, like I told you in layman language, always tell them. So if you're going to tell them in like this entire bookish language, they will also understand that you don't understand the concept. You just have mugged it up. But if you understand it very properly, and if you tell them in the language that I told, it is like self-explanatory.
Okay.
So you can say if like in layman language you can generally say it is used to manage our transactions in the databases. So all these are related to database, right? So when you say it is used to manage our transactions in the databases, so you'll have to justify it by saying we can manage our transaction in the databases by using commit or rollback statements. Then your statement will be fulfilled. Then your definition will be exactly correct. But if you are only going to say them like this, it is going to manage our transaction in the database without giving an example, then that would not be fine.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Anyone else has any doubt?
No.
Okay. So let's wind up for today. And those of you who want to join the class, those of you who don't have my contact details, I'll just ping you, share it with you.